All right, and here we go. We're taking things from Major's side. They've got a 2-power hand. Ooh, but they did just draw the 3rd power here, that Fire Sigil. This is the aggro Rakano deck. In hand, they've got a Hojin Crownbreaker, a Vanquish, a Groundbreaker, a Valkyrie Enforcer, an Axe Sharpener, and an Imperial Loyalist. Looks like a pretty sweet hand here for Major. And hitting that 3rd power really helped. Going to run out the Valkyrie Enforcer to go ahead and take care of that Seraph and turn it into the all-powerful Vanilla 05. Keith, on the other hand, playing Esper Varalis. Got the classic 3-color control deck that we've seen out of some of the other competitors here. Heavy on the market. Going to go ahead and pay the Blight Pass Smuggler to grab something from the market. That's a 1/4 Berserk Smuggler to go ahead and grab something from the market. But we're going to see Major attack. They're going to be the beatdown this round. They're going to go ahead and attack with their Valkyrie Enforcer. And I have a follow-up play here. Now, did miss the 4th power drop, so not going to be able to cast the Loyalist or the Groundbreaker, but they have some other options to play here. I'm going to go ahead and play the Crownbreaker. Oni Quartermaster, a 2/2 for 3. Be able to draw a card. And we see what Keith pulled from the market. They pulled a Slay to get rid of the 3/3 flyer, and that's going to slow Major down a little bit. Major misses the power again, but draws the Torch, which is going to be a pretty impactful card, although does not really do anything here against the 05 and the 1/4. I'm just going to go ahead and play out Axe Sharpener here instead. Oh, and look at this. Keith with a well-timed Hailstorm is going to not take care of 2 of Major's units. Hailstorm and Singleton is not something you see too much. That's hard to time sometimes, but that is a clutch Hailstorm to take care of 2 great units of Major. Major's going to use the Torch to go ahead and finish off that Blight Pass Smuggler after the Hailstorm. Major's going to try to reset here now, playing out an Imperial Loyalist, a 4/3. Can't get through the 05, but plays out a creature. Keith's going to use Wisdom of the Elders to go back up to 6 cards. Major attacks in with the Loyalist. Clutch draw on the finest hour here. Actually going to be able to win combat with the Loyalist by pumping it up to a 7/6 and triggering Renown on the Loyalist, being able to play another unit. And importantly, again, in Singleton, being able to play a unit of your choice from the deck is very important because of the Singleton nature of the format. You can choose whatever you want. Silver Bullets kind of breaks the Singleton a little bit when you have tutor effects where you can go pick out the card of your choice. Thanks, E-Money. I appreciate it. All right, going to fetch a Fearless Nomad off of that Loyalist, and then it's going to play the Oni Quartermaster. Now remember, Major does have a lot of weapons in the deck, so the 2/2 that when you play a weapon, draw a card, can really help Major filter through his deck when he's able to draw those. Yeah. Oh, and you can see Keith respecting it there. Going to go ahead and desecrate the Oni Quartermaster to keep Major from drawing cards. But leaves himself open for a 7-point here. Going to use Defiance. This cheap removal has been very good this game for Keith. The Hailstorm, the Defiance, all these taking care, keeping Major, staying at 15 life, Groundbreaker incoming, and because of the Spark is going to have that double damage. Keith has had some great removal this game, but hasn't really done much else and is going to need a unit or something here because facing down a 4/3 and a 3/6 double damage is going to be a lot for them to handle. Going to go to the market again. Let's see if they have Harsh Rule in the market, because if they do, that would be a great play next turn to wipe the board again. Now, notably, neither the Vanquish nor the Vanquisher's Blade are going to take care of the 3/2, but Groundbreaker doesn't care about the 3/2, can attack right through. Another cheap removing spell going to take the Lightning Strike. But what we've seen, all this cheap removal, unless you have something to follow it up with, isn't going to be enough. I mean, great removal by Keith, really keeping Major on the back foot, but Major has just had just enough units to keep that pressure on, and Keith's going to need something big here. Pristine Light, another clutch removal spell to take care of that 6/5. But another unit off the top. Major, keep drawing more units. Wow. And look at that. Keith keeps drawing removal spells. Major keeps drawing threats. Keith is down to 7. Going to need something big here. to be able to stabilize without it being an individual removal spell. Mokdo's pretty good. Mokdo's going to be able to answer these, but with a Vanquish, Mokdo's going to go back into the top of the deck, and because of the double damage on Platemaker, actually, with the twist, that's just going to be game. That's just going to be game because the twist ability is going to pump it up, and that's going to be damage. Wow. So Keith, with every removal spell in the book, just was not enough. Major had some really clutch draws there. Great game. Great, well played by both of them. Not sure what you could do differently in either of those games. Very well played by Keith to be able to do that, to keep them on the back foot, but Major drew just enough, just kept drawing threats, and that's what you need. When your opponent's full of removal, you just need to draw your threats, and we saw that happen there. Let's take a quick look while they're going very quick here at the deck list. This is a deck list that you can see from Keith's side. I'll give you pause there for just 1 second for you to look before we head back into the match. So you got lots of removal. I mean, not that you need to see the deck list. We saw pretty much all the removal spells there in that game. Lots of removal spells, lots of smugglers to be able to go get it. And then we see the powerful 5-drops of, or the powerful high-end Vara, Feast Caller, Sodi, Black Sky Harbinger, Island Clan Mother, Tell It, which we saw in an earlier game, and Maknadi Restored. All right, let's head on down. All right, here we see... I agree, Scrabble. I saw Celestial Omen in testing. Seems like a really ideal card for Singleton. I'm surprised we haven't seen too much Celestial Omen as well. All right, Major on another 2-power hand here. Got 2, and draws the 3rd power. Got 2 2-drop units in hand, a 4-drop unit, and then 2 4-power weapons, including the Powerhouse Morningstar 3/3 Overwhelm. That can hit. That can pack a big punch when put on really any unit. All right. Keith's just going to scry for a little bit, just going to scout. Major's going to play out a 2-drop, the Oni Forge Master, which has 2/2 for 2, Renown, create and draw a 2/1 weapon. Drew an Obliterate for the turn. All right. Keith going to play out the Merchant. Genev Merchant has Aegis. Go ahead and grab something from the market here. So it's interesting how we've seen some of the decks heavily rely on the market with their 3 colors, and we've seen some of the decks be much more streamlined, 2 colors without very much dependence on the market. 2 very different styles and approaches, and really 10 very unique different decks, which is in Singleton, you didn't know there were that many different options. You kind of just play the good cards, but we've seen 10 different approaches to the decks here, including some real fun ones with Major's Rakano aggro deck and the Feln deck we saw last round. All right, Major's going to go ahead and play Incendiary Slagmite here. And because of the Onslaught, gets to secretly choose a card in the enemy market, and the next time they draw a card from their market, they transform that into a Firebomb. Kothon the Farwatcher, that's a 2/3 Endurance, so you could pay 6 to give it flying and pay a 4/4 flyer. Major, crucial, clutch hits the 4th power there to be able to really open up their hand. They can play the Morningstar, they can play the Doorknocker, they can play the Press Gang, really anything in their hand except for Obliterate, which they weren't going to play this turn anyway. Oh, but Lightning Strike going to blow that out. Tough 2-for-1 there on the Lightning Strike, blowing up with the 1 health plus Morningstar. Only puts you up to 4. Lightning Strike going to knock that out. Big play there by Keith. Gets in 2 damage and then is able to follow up with a Smuggler as well. Major's going to go ahead and draw that 5th power, but this is going to be depleted. Going to play Crown Watch Press Gang here. Let's see what 1-cost unit they play from their deck. Another good choice for Singleton where you can choose whatever unit they want. And they pick Ticking Grenadin here. All right, but Keith stabilizing here. That was really clutch removal on that, being able to 2-for-1 and being able to activate Kothon, now having a 2/3 Endurance flyer and a 4/4 flyer. And Major drawing the Feather, being able to make his units fly, their units fly if they want. Can now open, the entire hand is opening up. Can go ahead and play the Obliterate on the 4/4 flyer. Not having any of that. Not going to attack into the 1/4, no use there. Winchest Cargo by Keith. Go ahead and go up to 6 power, 2 cards in hand, and there's the Mokdo from the market. Mokdo is going to be tough for Major's deck to answer here. Still at 19, but facing down a 5/5 flyer that's going to be almost impossible for them to deal with permanently, and then a 2/3 endurance flyer. All right, Major's going to play out 2 units here. Going to play out the Paladin and the Ticking Grenadin, but they're going to take 7 in the air this turn, and they're only at 12 now with 7 coming in the air next turn. Going to play the Quartermaster before playing a weapon. Then is going to play the Feather. It's going to give the Press Gang flying and draw a card because the Quartermaster. Then fire off the Recano Artisan to give every weapon +1/+1. Now Major has the 4/3 blocker for at least the 2/3. Perhaps not the Mokto, but will be able to block the 2/3. But it's going to go ahead and get aggressive here and going to attack into that 2/3. Keith lining up the block, going to go ahead and eat the Paladin for free. Not sure what that was about there. Major's going to take some damage here. Go down to 5. Oh, and Annihilate's going to take out the Quartermaster here. Mokto is lethal next turn on its own. Major would have to chump block the Mokto and take 2. Guess they can play the Door Knocker if they'd like. They're going to play Sharpshooter and pass the turn. Not looking good. And Deathstrike going to take care of the Press Gang, and that will be game. And Keith will take game 2. Going into a crucial game 3 here. Keith, while already in pretty good shape for making that top 4, really wants to cement it permanently with a win over the 3-0 Major here. All right. I'm sure they're going to dive right back into it. So this is game 3. Keith wins, and he's in. Major is in already, but locked up with the 3-0. Keith really wanting that last spot. Might already have it based on the tiebreakers. And here we go. Crucial game 3. Major's got 2 power in hand. Nothing they can cast. Going to toss that back. Ooh. Rough hand again. You got 4 power, but you have 3 equipment. You have 3 weapons and no units. And I don't think that's keepable either. Rough hand for Major here. Probably going to have to go to 6. And they will. They'll go to 6. Not a bad 6. 2 1-drops and a 2-drop is what you like to see. Keith going to fire off a cargo. Major going to start with the Grenadin drone. All right, Keith going to play a defensive Crown Breaker. Not a bad first 2 turns for Major. Ooh, Permafrost going to take care of that Highland Sharpshooter. Would have been really nice for Major to hit that Renown. Just going to attack in with the 2 1/1s. But Keith going to be able to get some life gain here on the back. You're going to use that Onslaught to play a 1/1 weapon on the Grenadin, and then play the Embargo Officer. Now, Embargo Officer is going to be pretty effective against Keith, who has a heavy reliance on the Smugglers and the Merchants. Oh, but Keith going to play the Mythic Clutch of Talons. It's going to activate Renown on the Crown Breaker, give it flying, and pump it up again for an 8/7 hit with lifesteal on that, and make it permanently a 4/3 flyer. That's a heck of a turn for Keith there. Major's going to put the Morningstar on. This is going to be a race here. Major can pack a lot of damage too, but as long as Keith keeps hitting land drops, then that Crown Breaker is going to gain it all back every time. Let's see what they can do. And there's the power drop. Crown Breaker is going to get pumped up. Goes to a 6/5 lifesteal in the air. Is going to gain 6 back. Going to fire off Wisdom of the Elders too. All he wants to do is really just hit those land drops. Going to need a silence here. Not going to have it. Major needs to get a tribute so that he can play, so that they can play that Sheriff Marley, but I don't see where that tribute's coming from right now. And there's the shakedown. That's going to whiff, but it is going to do 1 extra point with Nightfall. No power drop that turn. And then a harsh rule by Keith is going to take care of all of Major's board and their own Hojin, but getting them down to 6. Let's see what Keith follows up with that harsh rule. That could have been really good, or also just given Major an out. If Keith doesn't have a way to follow up with this, they may have just allowed Major to get back in this game. Gonna play a crest here. Scout, put it to the bottom. Ooh, Svetya. Svetya means that Major cannot play weapons until the next turn, which knocks out 3 of the weapons, 3 of the cards in Major's hand, and then gonna trade off. Now Major's going to play the Slagmite, and with Onslaught, it's going to be take out one of Keith's market cards. Secretly, of course. And Dizo's office. Going to use that cut ties to take care of the 3-1. And now you're staring at a Dizo's office on an empty board. Major has no units in hand to play these 2 weapons on. But going to play the helpful Doorbot. If you have no units, the Door Knocker can. So going to be able to play the Door Knocker on the helpful Doorbot. Get something out there. Diesel's office is going to be able to draw the scheme here. An Island Clan Mother, that's going to be a big one. Flying, Endurance, Lifesteal, silence an enemy unit. And the Obliterate is not going to be enough to take care of the 6-7. That's 7 health. Really doing a number against Obliterate here. Doorbot going to attack for 1. Not going to do anything. Oh, and this block by Keith. Keith takes the block to deal the 1 damage so that Obliterate can knock out Island. What a block. Now, it may not matter in the end, but that was such a block. Wow, what a block there that Keith did. Had lethal, but blocked the Grenadin, which allowed Major to take it out with Obliterate. Oof. Still might be too little too late for Major. But what a block there. A great play by Major for attacking in there and calling that jump. Keith going to go ahead, play out a Kothon Farwatcher, be able to activate it if they'd like. Also going to ultimate Dizo's office, which will give them Dizo. It's unblockable 4 power. Unit. Eclipse Dragon's pretty good, but not when you have to leave it back for defense. Keith's going to activate the Kothon, get a 4/4 flyer. There's not much the Major can do here, facing multiple lethal threats. Going to go ahead and put the Roland's Fist on the dragon and attack. And the Defiance for the Rubbins by Keith. Going to stun the dragon, and that'll be it. And Keith will take down Major. 2-1.